A woman discovered something terrifying when she boarded the plane. The cabin that could hold 200 people had only her and her daughter in it. It wasn't until half an hour later that passengers began trickling into the cabin. Once she saw luggage being loaded outside, the woman finally felt relieved. But that's when the terrifying events began to unfold. Her daughter had been silent and withdrawn since boarding. She comforted her daughter and told her to rest for a while, but when she opened her eyes again, she discovered her daughter had vanished from the cabin. At first, she thought her daughter had gone to the bathroom alone. However, when she searched the entire cabin and restrooms, she couldn't find her daughter anywhere. She began to feel uneasy. She approached a flight attendant to ask about the situation, but was told that her daughter had never boarded the plane. She was instantly confused. She and her daughter had clearly boarded together. Returning to her seat, she saw her daughter's teddy bear. She realized things definitely weren't as simple as they seemed, because her daughter never let go of this teddy bear. However, when she asked the passengers in nearby seats, they also said they hadn't seen her daughter. At this moment, a flight attendant appeared to help Daisy search through an announcement. 10 minutes passed, but there was still no news of her daughter. This turned her nervousness into panic. She demanded a search of the entire plane, but was refused by the flight attendant. The flight attendant reassured her that she would notify the captain to verify. However, after a long time, the captain never appeared, and the flight attendant stopped taking any action. Just then, she suddenly saw the chief flight attendant making a suspicious phone call. She hurried over to ask if there were any results. However, the flight attendant hung up the phone. The flight attendant told her that she had never seen her with a daughter, and there was no record of her daughter's name in the boarding information. She immediately protested, insisting that her daughter was on the plane. To prove that her daughter had also boarded, she immediately went back to the overhead compartment above her seat. But when she opened the luggage compartment, she discovered that her daughter's backpack was also missing. The flight crew began to doubt her mental state. Her emotions became increasingly worse. She believed her daughter must be in danger. She panicked and rushed toward the plane's cockpit, hoping to get help from the captain. However, before the captain could open the door, she was suddenly pinned against the door by an air marshal. After learning about her emergency situation, he took the initiative to get the captain for her. Soon after, the captain understood the situation. He asked the woman if she had been drinking on the plane or had taken any medication. She admitted that she had been taking medication recently, but only common antidepressants, because a few days ago, her husband had died in an accidental fall from a building. Her mental state had somewhat collapsed, and the purpose of this trip was to transport her husband's body back to their hometown for burial. Although the captain still had some doubts about her mental state, but just to be safe, he ordered the crew to turn on the seatbelt sign, asking all passengers to return to their seats, closed all restrooms, and conducted a comprehensive search, not even sparing the electronics compartment. But they couldn't find the little girl the woman described. This convinced the captain that she definitely had mental problems. He decided to immediately stop the search and ordered her to return to her seat immediately. Just then, she seemed to remember something. She rushed quickly into the cabin, approached a passenger, and got into a confrontation with him, because she had seen this person last night. He had been staying in the room across from theirs, and he had been watching their room. They must have kidnapped her daughter.